Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade. I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 444. Today is Sunday, July 2nd, 2023, and I'm glad you could join me today. It is a beautiful day, but it's also going to be hot. My poor little Bambino does not know what to do with himself. His upcoming trip to the Mid-South would be hard, I think. Though I do have to laugh a little bit because it was the case where like my spouse was like glancing at the thermostat in the house. He's like, yeah, I guess we should have opened up the house last night. It's like, it's still pretty hot. I'd be like, So, but let's be clear, friends. I think that, or would it be? Let's see, do we have the handy dandy, see, we don't care about that one. Normally this has just been showing the weather. Like, it's anticipated to be 72. I know, I can see the fog off the ocean, so I think it's gonna be nice and cool tonight, so that's not a big deal, but what would it be? It got up to 80 inside. And so okay, it's 69 right now. So what it boils down to is like, it's fine. Like, this is not terrible heat, but what would it be? It is maybe just a little bit awkward because the windows in the front of our house are so low that like our baby can just like fall out. So we wouldn't be able to have like the windows open during the daytime. And that isn't a good strategy either. But we just have a furnace that runs year round. It's a little strange for once for us to actually feel a little bit warm. So I'm wearing my linen top. So this is probably this one was probably the last linen top that I will ever knit, just because it hurts me. So linen and I, like, I'm fine with the finished product, but we do not get along when it comes to the knitting. Whatever, such is life. So what I'm showing you right now is somewhat different than what I showed you last week. I probably had a skinny scarf about whatever, like 2/3 the length of my body, if that, 60%. This week I have the beginnings of a less thin scarf. I decided after a session of ripping back that I wanted to do something a little bit different, and so that's where we're at. So the pattern remains mostly the same as before, and I'm getting ready to actually start the next the first round of center decreases and increases. So the scale of this pattern is going to be a little bit larger looking because it won't be the case where it's like all contained within 1 or 2 blocks, which is whatever. But I concluded that the scarf was just a little bit too skinny. I don't know if this scarf is now a little bit too wide, but it'll be fine. So it's not going to be it's no longer going to be like soapy scarf width. It's going to be maybe just normal skinny scarf width or something. So I am knitting this out of 2 hand-spun yarns. One of them is a Kiviot Camel mix as a sample from Judith Mackenzie's Down class that I thread plied with silk. And then the tan and orange yarn is a mix of baby camel, merino, and then I believe merino tencel silk. I think that was the mix. So it's lightly woolly, lots of camel, pretty darn luxurious scarf, and I'm hoping this iteration works out a little bit better. I don't know whether or not I was being too fickle when I decided to rip it out earlier this week. I was thinking about it 2 weeks ago, so sometimes you just have to listen to the voice in your head on those things. So I was thinking about it after last episode, so maybe it's no surprise that I finally did just bite the bullet Thursday night and pulled it back. So what I ended up doing differently this time, so when I started the scarf before, I did increases with no decreases for one of the sections, and so this time I skipped the decreases on 2 sections, and so this is actually the row, the pass that I'm working right now will actually be the first decreases that I'm doing on the scarf. And I'm going to do the decreases in the same spot, but the look will be like a little bit different, I think. Ish. So it won't be, I won't have like as convenient a marker as like, oh, your increases are now all the way out to the very bitter edge that I did the first pass, but I think that'll be okay. And then I was pondering if I wanted to change the decrease location so that it was closer in time to temporally closer, because as it stands right now, there are I'm doing the decreases on the wrong side, and so there's a decent amount of knitting that's happening between then. So I sometimes like blank out a little bit on, oh yeah, no, this was a decrease row, and why didn't I do the decrease? So in that regard, this scarf might be a little bit, like a smidgen harder to read. I also shortened up the color blocks a little bit because it wasn't, like, with a wider scarf, it was going to be less square anyways, so we'll see pretty soon if my choice was a good one or not. But is me, or would it be? It's not good news for completing projects in a timely fashion. Because I've gotten a lot of knitting enjoyment out of these 2 hand spun yarns, but whatever. At the end of the day, the primary objective is making something with this very luxurious yarn that I'll actually use, and so that is the end game. And in the meantime, I just have the delightful process of knitting brioche. But yeah, no, it did hurt a little bit to be like, it's like I'm more than halfway. But whatever, can't let that stop you from starting over if something doesn't seem quite right. So I think in the end, this is going to be, I think, much more of like a normal scarf width, and it's probably fine. So, and here is the decrease. Do not forget to do the decrease. I don't know if I just need to plunk a marker down so that I don't forget the decrease. So, it shouldn't be too crazy. And basically what this boils down to is when I'm doing decreases on the wrong side, it makes it look like the line has been terminated instead of merged. And then on the back side, it will look like it has been merged. So it'll be. So it is not double the width that it was before. And I'm incorporating actually some design elements from the original cowl. So instead of doing like 20 stitch blocks, it's now 16. And then the first row of the block, that first row of the block has whatever element of the one before. So I think that'll end up working. We'll find out. Whatever. It'll be fine. So, unless it's just going to slowly but surely grow with time. So, what it be? So, should be good. This is going to be like a slightly different look, but I think I do like the pattern on a larger scale. So, we'll just keep on keeping on for the time being. And eventually I'll get it figured out. So that's the story there. Then I'm actually unsure about whether or not I made any progress on this in the last 2 weeks. So this is my Scheherazade. It is an Anna Victoria pattern from the lily pad, and like this is already actually like a pretty big shawl, all things considered. So, and hefty with all of the beads it has in it so far. So I'm not quite to the point where I've used a red bead. So instead of it being like a 3 tube of bead shawl, it's now like an 8 tube of bead shawl. So I'm getting closer, I guess, to the halfway point there, in terms of bead usage. And what it be? I think I have a pearl black row, and then I have another bead row to do, and then yeah, and then the density of the beads will be somewhat less after that. So very gorgeous, very lovely. I'm showing you the wrong side, which would then explain why the beads are definitely not showing up. Sorry. So, but not too crazy there. So, yeah, I can't remember where I left off exactly. Whatever. Thing. Like, the knitting time has been still a little bit strange, so I'm still in recovery. It'd be lovely when I'm out of recovery. So where to be? So not too crazy. I am happy with the direction the shawl is going in. The only open question that I have right now, which I'm trying to hold off on making a decision at least for a little bit longer, is if I need to swap needle sizes, because I might need to swap needle sizes, because my yarn usage may have changed with my gauge on this project. So my previous yarn usage is not applying very well to my current yarn usage, but I'm willing to wait a chart repeat, or one of 4 border chart repeats before I make that call. But if it's the case where I'm definitely using the same yarn per stitch, then whatever, that is the right way to go. And what to be like, I think I have a bit more to go on this specific chart before I need to. I mean, this one isn't the monster chart, which I think is making up most of the yarn usage. So we'll get it figured out. What I'm doing for this to see if I can just affect it a little bit is thinking tight thoughts full of purling, which I know isn't a sustainable strategy, but it's the one I'm trying. I'm not doing anything special for the right side, because I know from my gauge that I can loosen up a lot. I know from my own gauge that my purl stitches are bigger. Use up more yarn per stitch. So this is a way to get it done. As you do. And then, or would be like way back when, in the before the podcast started days, it was the case where I did the planned pooling scarf. And honestly, the appropriate strategy for the planned pooling scarf was probably to use 2 different needle sizes for right side and wrong side. But I didn't know that at the time. So, but that's a whole different exercise in yarn management. What it be? I think partially because so it'd be the case where so yesterday was the beginning of Tour de France, which leads to Tour de Fleece, which means my Instagram feed was totally inundated with pictures of people spinning, especially pictures of people spinning who do not spin on the regular. There's nothing like an event to get people going. So what I am, or would it be? So it'd be the case where haven't touched my wheel in a little bit, but I definitely could stand to finish the project on it so that I can resume my sweater spin. I haven't even looked to see what's happening in the group that I normally would do Tour de Fleece challenges with. Honestly, I'm probably still working on yeah, or would it be? So it'd be like there are lots of ways to remind me of what is left undone. So like Facebook would remind me because I'm posting my pictures on Instagram. Google reminds me because Google, or would it be? I actually do sort of enjoy it, but Google basically has like a feature in their photo app which will bring up and curate pictures from a day or pictures that look similar and that sort of thing. So it is entertaining to see what happened, like, oh, that was 6 years ago, oh my gosh, where has time gone? And so it was bringing up memories of me making making the bats for my current sweater spin, for which I have one bobbin done. And like on it, like to be quite frank, what would it be? Yeah. So me making bats for that. And what would it be? We can probably trace back to whatever, when my spinning mojo went much lower, was approximately around after SSK last year, in which I decided I was going to finish my samples, and then it took many months to get that done. So, good or bad. That could also coincide with my return to full-time work after having a DPN and those sorts of things. So lots of stuff. So the dealio is would it be? So like I definitely, or would it be the case where the mojo hasn't been as strong lately, and that probably has a lot to do with being ill and the long recovery of getting back. So not back yet. Would it be? Feel way better than I did, but I don't know. Like, it makes me think of when I was in high school. I was on the swim team, and would it be? I had never really thought very deeply about, like, hey, after you get sick, what happens? But there was definitely a time in which I got, like, sick during the swim season, and I could immediately tell that I could not do what I could before. And I think that was sort of the first time that I had really realized that, like, would it be that more than just, like, the time in which you're, like, not feeling well, but actually, like, the recovery takes quite a bit more time than the illness itself does. So would it be? So whatever. Sunday musings for your pleasure. Would it be? And then, like, I think the next couple of weeks are going to be interesting. So, in terms of recording schedule, we will see if we'll see if in 2 weeks everything's okay. It's feasible on the calendar, but I will be solo parent that weekend, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's not too crazy, but whatever, we'll see. So, and then it'll be the case where the post SSK episode will end up coming out in August, not in July. So if I was on schedule, it would have been like the 29th or 30th when I would record, but that will still be a part of my trip. So would it be? So I won't be able to record or would it be? Nor do I think it would make a ton of sense. But we'll see. Make sure the computer's okay. It's like 5 minutes is awfully fast for it to get sleepy. So that's what it's looking like. So, but it does sound as I'm sort of planning it all out that it does need to happen 2 weeks from now. So should be exciting. And then I have to laugh myself while working on this shop because I'm going to be leaving myself to do the annoying bead row as the immediate next thing. It's fine. So it does sound like it really needs to happen because otherwise it's gonna be a long break. Yeah, and I think whatever. The next episode I think I will end up having like a little bit more clarity on what my knitting plans need to be. What's less clear to me right in this instant. Because what is it? Because I am getting so much bang for my buck here. So the only question that I have is would it be, are there actually specific knitting desires that I would like to have fulfilled? So I think some of this boils down to would it be probably like taking a look at the vendor list, taking a look at my stash. Would it be definitely a situation where would it be, so I don't, or would it be, basically what I'm trying to say is I may want to cool it on the yarn and fiber since I'm not consuming my consumables very quickly. And then we can discuss whether or not there are tools which I would like or that sort of thing. So I'll have to take a look at the vendor list and maybe figure out what my game plan is there. But I suppose that I'm not above buying a beautiful thing that is not already covered in my stash, as or would be because I have my fiber space purchase down on the ground nearby. So whatever, such is life. Yeah, and then also, would it be? I guess it is a situation of figuring out would it be? Where am I going? Where am I going from here? And is there anything that needs to change in order to make me get there? And I must admit, like I guess it's the case where I feel like my plans are well plotted and it's just a matter of execution. So we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, trying to think of what else is going on. Not too crazy. What would it be? Because I know I had been excited about various events, so what would it be? I think yeah, that's interesting. So Yeah, no, because one of the or would it be one of the puzzles that I'm just trying to think over right now is so my spouse and I decided to get a proper Zoom account because would it be because like as far as like the month by month cost was about the equivalent of what I was spending for going out to go knitting once a week. But it's not like I'm stopping that expense, so and it would be so it was a case where I was hosting the Friday night group because would it be the person who had originally done it had decided to step away. But then it would be but the challenge has been like based on I don't even know how things are set up, or maybe you would need like a corporate account instead of like a personal account. But there are definitely some settings where like it can't be the case where I have a scheduled event and people have the link and they go in. So then it ends up being a pickle because it's like, okay, like when we used to meet, like it wasn't, sorry, this is an incoherent thought. Basically what it boils down to is I can't set it up at 6 because I get home at 5:45, and so I'm like hanging out with DPN and figuring out dinner and getting DPN to bed, and that like process is now pushed, or that process means it ends somewhere around 7:30 to 8:30. And not having a consistent start time does make it a little challenging for the group. And then also I think like as we sort of get used to like our post-pandemic lives, like some of us are busy and have things to do or take naps or who knows, or forget what day of the week it is. So I was like, so it'd be the case where when the one person left, a chunk of the group also ended up disappearing, and so I don't know if there's like a different group somewhere, or we're just not together again. And I had been sincerely hoping that like that this was a group that could stick together, but would it be? There are seasons in our life, and that was a great season. So what I'm pondering, sorry, this is a long-winded way to say, like I don't know if I want to use the Zoom account for different purposes, or if there is some way of doing things differently that would end up working out okay. So I don't know. We'll figure something out. It'll work. So I don't, or would it be? So I guess it's the case where I'm not sure if I want to like figure out like is there like a morning in California time that works, or would it be the challenge for me is or would it be? It would be the case where based on my podcasting time, so it's like, okay, Bambino is down for the nap, and then sadly it's now just so today was definitely the case where I'm like, oh well, it's noon, it's time to go to sleep. It's like this is the absolute latest. So I don't know. We'll get it figured out. So just to be it's just challenging sometimes when you have a little person who needs your attention. Would it be? Though I will say I'm actually pretty happy with how good he is at playing by himself and doing his own thing. But there are definitely times where he's like, no, he like, or would it be he'll like grab your hand and like put it on the book, be like, what about me? It's like this is time for me. So when he does that, you're like, okay, fine. I agree. This is a reasonable ask. So, I don't know. So I'm just pondering that. Would be. Let's see. Any other excitement? Yeah, no, I suppose the only other thing that is exciting right now and I need to make a choice or something is so because of some of the, because of like the Stitches bankruptcy, it was the case where the biggest fiber festival in the area is now Lambtown, and Lambtown happens in October, so like close, but a little bit earlier to the time of Rhinebeck. And so I did go last year, but it was primarily just to like check things out. Ended up carpooling with some friends. Would it be? I can definitely see the scenario where it may be like a little bit easier, or there's definitely an option to, or the bus picks up not too far away from my house. I could totally get my spouse to drop me off at the BART station and go from there. So I'm like thinking through all of that, but like one of the big changes was they went from having like a handful of classes to having like 4 days of classes. And because this is run by Roy Clemis of Clemis and Clemis, like it definitely, like, would it be, they have some really good spinning contacts and some really good spinning classes, as well as like knitting and weaving classes, which would it be I think because of after effects of like people do want the outlet, and they now have the time, so they ended up making some big changes there. So then there's spinning classes from someone I've never taken spinning classes from, who is a well-known teacher, so I need to go to the website and look and see what's going on and figure out if I have the vacation. It's probably fine. Or it'd be like I will probably have accumulated more vacation days since then. Or whether or not I even need to take vacation. So that I can attend a handful. I would be like, and then it's the case where, like, in terms of distance, like it's sort of in like that middle bracket basically. So it'd be the case where it is it's probably close enough that I drive back and forth every day, but would it be? But they ended up bringing a lot in. So I might need to make a decision on that, but would it be? Definitely on the sheepier, spinnier end festivals, but I don't know if it's going to change a little bit because people who would do stitches and not Lambtown may end up doing Lambtown because it is one of the things available locally. So that's another thing that I'm pondering. I was like, they convinced Jilly Moreno to come out, and it's almost like I need to sit down and like cross-reference every class I've signed up for with her. and figure out are there ones that I haven't taken? But I did ask if she was doing her cheese class, and it's like, no official cheese class. I'm like, oh, unofficial cheese class. It's like I can get behind that, which would then push me to end up driving. So, but it was the case where I ended up going one day last year on the weekend. It was a lot of fun. I bought a fleece. So, and stickers. The stickers are now placed, so that's good. So I don't know. It's just an interesting challenge to figure out. I probably do it vacation time. I didn't have enough vacation time to properly do Rhinebeck, but that's fine. So what it be? And then if I end up taking classes, that ends up making it feel like a better substitute to what I ended up doing for like DFW Fiberfest, where I would make a weekend of it and it would be a whole thing. But what was nice about DFW Fiberfest was that it was like a 30 or 40 minute drive, so it was pretty easy to have fun, hang out with all of the out-of-town folks, but still be able to sleep in my own bed. And I'm guessing Lambtown will probably end up being a similar sort of thing, but the commute is a bit longer. I don't know if it's an hour and it might be an hour and a half during rush hour. Let's be fair. So we'll get it sorted. But yeah, no, I'm not yeah, I guess that is an interesting question about if they'll end up running the bus commute the other days that they have classes. I'm not sure whether or not there's enough stuff going on that they will end up doing that. So, in short, I need to look at the class list and figure out if there's a couple that I want to take, because I would like to encourage them to continue to do this, and the best way to do that is to join in. Would it be one of them that looked very interesting was like understanding your wheel mechanics, so you could make the yarn, or would it be like what your default weight of yarn on your wheel is. So I think it would be very fascinating to take that class, because I feel a little bit like how would it be that there was like a default weight that I was making on my wheel, and now it has become like significantly different. And so it would be very interesting to find out what's going on there exactly. Because I feel like there's like a whole range of my wheel, a whole range of possibilities on my wheel that I am not using. And would it be? I'm just curious. Like, would it be? Would it be probably like if I'm to think back on when things ended up changing for me, like I think it was the case where when I ended up spinning like cobweb weight singles, using my normal whorl. I feel like since then I've been able to make very fine yarn, and have never needed to use sort of the higher twist options of my wheel. But then it feels a little bit like it seems odd to me that would it be like that I'm not using the other parts of my wheel for the higher twists, the higher ratios of my wheel in order to make fine yarn. Like it seems like something's odd, so I don't know what's going on there. So it would be interesting to talk with an expert about that. And then yeah, so it seems like there's an awful lot there. There's a Clemis and Clemis class I haven't taken yet. And other such things. So yeah, I would be like pretty much. I just really love taking their classes, and it's hard to say no in that situation. I probably won't be taking the getting better at selecting please class because I think I'm in a place in my life where I'm happy to just pay dollars for that. I think in the end I'm just going to pay for the expertise. It's fun. So yeah, no, everybody. So I think that's the direction that, or those are sort of the directions that I'm leaning, and now we have another row done. So whatever. We got sort of rambly at the end. I hope you guys don't mind. I'll have to report back on what else I want to learn about the fiber crafts. It's so gorgeous. I feel like I would be like have to have yeah, I guess my only question is whether or not the overall effect of this shawl is just going to be mostly green in the end, based on what it be. The farther I get into it, would it be, it's going to be a long time before we start heading in the more blue direction. Whatever. This will probably end up getting some love at midnight tomorrow night. So I'll have to let you guys know. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.